Yo, Luke, have you seen that Task Force X Kill the Justice League is now 40% off? Has it not been 5 weeks? Would you recommend it for such a price? On console only, the deluxe edition is on a discount. Interesting. I've not seen this. Hold on. Suicide Squad. Is it really on discount already? Let's see. Ooh, baby. Even on PC, it looks, yeah, 40. Ooh, baby. Special promotion, 40% off. That's, I think, is that, I think it's slightly more than Skull and Bones went on sale for, right? Because Skull and Bones was like 25 bucks off. Skull and Bones, I think, went to $45. So I think it's at a steeper discount than Skull and Bones is, which is bad. That's crazy. I mean, it seems to be working. It's driven. The numbers have gone up. They're up to 567, which is the highest it's been since the weekend. It is a Friday, but they peaked over the last week at like 696. So they're just 130 players off from breaking records. Like, honestly, for me, would I recommend it at that price? I don't really think so. You're still only getting, well, for one, the biggest problem is that right now, apparently some people still are locked out. Some people still can't really play the game. And there is like late game progression issues. There's issues logging in. So who knows if you're even going to be able to play the game if you buy it at that price point. Beyond that, I still insist that it's about 2.5 to 3 hours of gameplay stretched over about a 10-hour campaign. And then there's 3 missions for the end game, which are substantially just the same exact thing you've been doing for the rest of the game. So it's just an extremely repetitious game with very, very little content within it. And so even still for 42 bucks, I don't think you'll get that much out of it. I would actually say for like, based on content, I think Skull and Bones has significantly more content than Suicide Squad. Is it a better value? I don't know, especially when Black Flag will give you most of it for cheaper, but still. I don't think it's worth it at that price point. A lot of people are still just waiting for them to figure out the damn technical issues, and they've delayed all of those patches because they're trying to prepare season 1, and it worries me that they're still kind of desperately trying to get season 1 set, and they're having to delay quality of life patches for season 1. And then like the Epic Game Store version of the game got delayed, and season 1 is still like 3 weeks away, and they're still like trying desperately to figure it out. So I don't know, just the whole thing is a bit of a dumpster fire. I'll just be honest. And it's too bad, like, nobody likes to kick a dead horse except for me. Let's be honest. I do really, really enjoy it. And part of it's like this, it's a bad character trait, I grant you. But part of it is like an I told you so feeling, where for months and months I was raising and waving the red flag, you know? I was like, guys, so much of this game doesn't make sense. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of things that we should be talking about that nobody's really talking about. And for months and months, people were like, Luke, you're just being mean. You're beating up on the game. You are just trying to hate on it. You're trying to be negative and stuff. It's like, I'm just calling out the problems I see that everyone else seemingly is just ignoring. And then the game launches. It's a steaming pile of dog crap. And kind of an insult even to the players who spent $100 on it. And I can't help but want to just be like, this is why being critical matters. This is why being skeptical matters, because you can avoid being taken advantage of like this. I actually got on Instagram DMs like a few weeks ago. I remember a message from somebody being like, so Luke, I used to be kind of a hater. I used to leave snarky comments, and then, you know, Starfield happened, and I was like, okay, well, so he was right about one thing. And then, of course, Suicide Squad hit, and he's like, so I'm starting to think that, yeah, being skeptical about these big games is maybe a good idea. maybe that's a good idea. And it came around, because unfortunately, a lot of people have to learn that lesson the hard way. And I mean, that's how I learned it. I got burnt by games like Cyberpunk, by games like Fallout 4 to a lesser extent. And I don't want to make those mistakes again. And I don't want to lead my audience into that position again, because a lot of the content creators out there around the time of Cyberpunk, around the time of like Bethesda creators, around the time of Fallout 76, were making excuses and being apologists for it. And I just think that that's something we should try desperately to avoid. So I'm trying to be skeptical and not get too hyped for Dragon's Dogma, but it's not working. Well, here's the thing, Shake and Bake. Like, people think skepticism is just shutting down all excitement and fun, and that's not what it is. It's just accepting a claim once there's sufficient evidence to justify the claim. So in the case of Dragon's Dogma 2, I would say at this point right now, I think that there's a lot of things pointing to Dragon's Dogma 2 being a really good game. There's a lot of things pointing to it being awesome. There are some things that I'm not in love with. The performance on console seems like it's going to be pretty crappy. I mean, a fully uncapped frame rate targeting, quote, around 30 FPS is exactly what the game's director said. They're targeting around 30 FPS. And in IGN's gameplay, they had frame drops down into the mid 20s. I think the lowest they saw was around 24 FPS. So I don't love that. And I'm going to tell you I don't love it. Just because the rest of the game looks awesome doesn't mean that I'm going to ignore that or pretend like that's not a thing. I'm going to bring that up and we're going to discuss it. But as for everything else, like, I think that there's plenty of reason to be excited. The reason I avoid the word hype is because hype has so many connotations with it, where it's like this blind, extreme level of excitement to the point where you are becoming very emotionally attached to it. And that is a dangerous game to play. That is a very dangerous game to play. He took my thing.